Hey there, welcome back to this part 2 of mastering the basics of short circuit analysis with DigSilent Power Factory. In this tutorial, we're going to look at the basics of how to model a component, and we're also going to look at the possible method you've got available to reduce your short circuit current. So let's get started. To get started, we're going to model a simple short circuit current of an external grid connected to a bus bar without a transmission line. So I've got a simple project I've created here, and I've pulled in the external grid and connected to a bus bar. Now let's go ahead and define some parameters for our system here. So I'm going to click on my bus bar here, and my line voltage is set at 132 kilovolts. So I can reduce this to 33 kilovolt line to line and say okay and okay. Great, so that's basically what I need there, and let's configure the short circuit parameters for my external grid. Now remember, this is the external grid, could be a power plant generator that is basically supplying power to this bus bar. So we're going to define some short circuit parameters for our power plant here. Now let's assume that the short circuit current for our power plant here is going to be 30 kiloamps at the connected bus bar. And we need to define the impedance representation, basically our XR ratio here. We're going to set it up, and I'm going to leave it at 10, and my current will be at 30 kiloamps. So that basically means at this particular bus bar, this external grid will be supplying a short circuit current of 30 kiloamps and a short circuit power of just above 1700 MVA. I'm just also going to set the minimum short circuit current to 30 kiloamps. So this is basically all we need to do here, and we're gonna press OK. Great. Now let's run a quick short circuit calculation at the bus bar location. So I'm going to click on short circuit, and I'm going to choose the IEC 60909, and I'm going to calculate the maximum short circuit current and execute. Great. Now you can see that at this point here, we are getting exactly the value that we've set on the modeling of our external grid there. And we also getting a IP, the peak short circuit current of 74.07 kiloamps. Now let's just expand this quickly here. Great. Now what we're going to do here, we're going to add a transformer and another bus bar, and then we're going to calculate a short circuit at the other end of the secondary of the transformer. That way we're going to now see the reduction on the short circuit current on this bus bar 1, comparing it to the short circuit current on bus bar 2 that will be on the secondary of the transformer. Now do not confuse that current with the normal secondary current of the transformer. That will be higher than the normal line current on the primary. Now we're talking about the short circuit current here. Now let's go ahead and bring in a second bus bar for our system here. Okay, and we're going to change the voltage of this bus bar because this is going to be a step down transformer. So let's go ahead and change it to 11 kilovolt. That will be our low voltage side, and we're going to say okay. Great. Now let's bring in a 2-winding transformer, and we're going to connect on the first cubic of our low voltage bus bar on cubic 1, and we also now going to connect on the grid bus bar on cubic 2. Great. Now what we need to do here is to change the settings for our transformers according to what we want to do here. So I'm going to create a new project type for the transformer settings to pop up, and I'm going to increase my power here to 50 MVA. The high voltage side is 33, the low voltage side is 11, and the short circuit voltage percentage here is going to be 10%, right? And the XR ratio is also going to be 10%. On the 0 sequence, I'm also going to change it to 10%. Now the vector grouping here on the high voltage side, we're going to put it at delta, right? And the low voltage side, we're going to have a star with a neutral point transformer. I'm going to leave the phase shift at 0 10% or 0 degree. Now let's go ahead and say okay and okay. Great. Now we are basically ready to run this. I'm going to go ahead and click on calculate the short circuit analysis at that point. Basically using the same settings here, let's go ahead and execute. Great. Now let me just expand here quickly here. So okay, so now we can see that we're getting a 22 kiloamps of short circuit current with a peak of 54 compared to what we had right there, because remember we had a 30 kiloamps at the bus bar. Now the short circuit have been reduced thanks to the parameters, mostly the short circuit impedance on the transformer here. Now if we reduce the short circuit impedance percentage value here to, let's say, a value lower than the 10% that we set it, we also going to see an increase in the value of the short circuit current on the secondary bus bar. Now let's put this to 3% and here also to 3% on the 0 and positive sequence. Okay and okay. So now let's go ahead and calculate the short circuit at this bus bar one more time. Execute with the same settings and we're going to see a change in the short circuit current. As you can see that the short circuit current basically went from 22 to 45, right, kiloamps, and the peak have gone way above 100 kiloamps, 113 kiloamps of peak short circuit current. That is simply because we've reduced the parameters of the per unit impedance of the transformer. So now these basically tell you that your per unit impedance of your transformer is very important in terms of suppressing the short circuit current when there is a short circuit on your line. Great. Now let's move on. Now we're going to display the vector grouping of our transformer here by going into layers and invisible, visible. We're gonna bring the vector grouping to be visible and we're going to say okay. Great. Now you can see that we've got a delta star with a neutral point. So now I'm going to go ahead and change these basically to remove the neutral point. Okay. Now before I do that, let's first run a quick short circuit calculation, but this time we're going to run a single phase short circuit calculation at this bus bar. Okay, so instead of running a 3-phase, we're going to run a single phase to ground and we're going to execute. Now what you're going to see here, we basically have a 55 kiloamps on phase A, right, of a short circuit value. But now if I change the vector grouping to basically remove the neutral point on my transformer, right, because you can see we got a Y end here. Now if we just set a YY here with a 0 degree phase angle, right, with a 0 degree phase shift, and we say okay and okay, and now we try to execute again the single phase short circuit analysis at the same location. Now this time, because there is no connection point, there is no neutral point, we're not going to register a short circuit current at this point because there is no neutral point connected for that particular transformer, so you can't get a single phase short circuit calculation at that point. Great. Now let me show you now another method you can reduce your short circuit current when you're doing a single phase short circuit calculation. Now to do that, let's change our transformer back to include a neutral point on our secondary. Basically we're going to change the vector grouping to a YN again. Okay, and okay and okay. So now just bear with me here, we're going to run another short circuit analysis at this point. Okay, and execute. Great. Now we can see that we've got 55 kiloamps of current there. So let's just display the values there. It's very important. Now we can see that we got 55 kiloamps of short circuit current on phase A. But now there is something known as the resistance grounding or reactance grounding in power system, right? So that basically means you including an impedance on your grounding point. Now, if you have a grounding on your transformer and you go on grounding the neutral point here, you basically going to see these parameters. So you either have a resistance or a reactance. So let's go ahead and give an impedance or a resistance of 50 ohm on our grounding resistance here, and then we're going to say okay. Now, as you will understand that the moment we include the resistance on our grounding point here, as you can see, this means it will have a direct impact on the short circuit value at these bus bar here. So let's go ahead and run another single phase short circuit calculation and execute. Great. Now you can see that the short circuit have been reduced to a mere 0.114 kilo amps. What's a massive reduction? That's obviously because we've included a 50 ohm grounding resistance on our system there. Right. Great. Now, before I show you the other method of modeling your short circuit parameters here, if you found this tutorial useful, please make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to CMTEQ channel. That will be highly appreciated, and I thank you so very much. Great. Now, the point of doing all this is obviously to ensure that protection equipment are basically updated or upgraded, or they are rated to the level of the fault, whether it's a single phase or three-phase fault. You've got the correct circuit breaker with the correct rating. But now, as you've seen here, there is a different method in which you can reduce your short circuit current, one of which is changing the percentage impedance of your transformer or of your line, if you've got a line included in your system, or adding series reactance onto your system that will also add up to the impedance of the line and ultimately reduce your short circuit current. But now, if you are dealing with high voltage system, there is also a method of splitting the network. Basically, instead of just having one line, you're going to split it. That way, your short circuit current is also going to split. It's basically going to be reduced. So these are the basics method in which you can mitigate your short circuit current. Great. Now let's go ahead and execute another IEC short circuit standard here to calculate a fault at our bus bar. Right now, I'm going to change these to the IEC 61363. Now, these standards allow you to basically see the plot of your short circuit current as its decay, basically from the peak value to the average value of the short circuit current. So now let's go ahead and execute at that bus bar and observe the plot that will be introduced to us by DigSilent. Great. Now let's go ahead and look at the plot provided to us by the standard IEC 61363. Now here you can see that you've got a current, a short circuit current that is decaying, basically decreasing with time. Okay, and you've got an instantaneous short circuit current that is varying also with time. Now the key point here is that the rate in which the short circuit current decay here is dependent on your short circuit impedance. Now, to prove that point, let's go ahead and run another short circuit analysis, but at this time here we're going to run the IEC 61363. But before we do that, I'm going to change some parameters here at the external grid. So I'm going to change the short circuit parameters, and I'm going to change these to 2, basically my XR ratio, and I'm going to say okay. And now let's go ahead and execute. We're going to execute the IEC 61363, execute, and we should be able to get a different plot. Great, the execution is completed. Let's go ahead and have a look at the plot here. As you can see here, there is a much faster decay here. Basically here, what we see here is with a smaller short circuit impedance, we can see that the current is decaying much faster and reach a constant value where it doesn't decay anymore, right? And we also have the instantaneous value of the short circuit current changing with time. So this is basically what the IEC 6136 can basically show you in terms of the short circuit impedance. But if we change, right, let's say we change this value to 50 ohm, the impedance ratio, okay, and we run the short circuit analysis again at the same point, basically with the same standard, and when we look at the plot, you can see that the decaying is very slower, right, with time, because the impedance is much larger, the short circuit impedance. Great. Now another simple method in which you can also reduce the value of your short circuit current is by including the short circuit impedance during the calculation, right? So basically, if we can just switch back to the IEC 16909, you can see there are these parameters here. These parameters here, basically they are there to include the fault impedance. So if you can maybe add, let's say 0.5 ohm of fault impedance, and then you execute at this point here, you're going to see there is a reduction on the value of the short circuit current compared to running it without the inclusion of that fault impedance, which we're going to see now. So if we just set it as 0 and execute, you're going to see that the short circuit current is going to change back to 45.9 kilo amps. So this is basically how you can use DigSilent in various ways to model your short circuit analysis and get the result that you need. Thank you guys for watching. If you find it useful, please make sure you subscribe to CMTEQ channel and give this tutorial a thumbs up. Until next time, cheers.